Dear friends, thank you for inviting me to the second Regional Financial Inclusion Forum. As you know, the protection and promotion of women's rights, gender equality and women's empowerment are key priorities for Italy's international action, both in multilateral context and in bilateral relations. Fighting against all forms of violence on women also means promoting women's empowerment and vice versa. There will be no women's empowerment if gender violence persists. On the other hand, promotion of women's economic, social and political empowerment unsurprisingly contributes to deterring gender-based violence. Initiatives like Mujeres, economia locali territorios, MELYT, are a pillar of the Italian cooperation strategy based on both combining efforts to foster economic development and actions to promote equality and justice. We fully support this project as it aims at improving the living conditions of women in rural areas of El Salvador, Guatemala and Honduras by promoting their economic independence and by supporting the institutional bodies that play a key role in this sector. I also believe it important that this project is not bound to the borders of one state. Limits to women's empowerment are often a matter of economic conditions and mentality, which transcends single countries. We can better find this battle if we make it global and interconnected. Women empowerment is influenced by economic conditions and mentality that are strictly intertwined. If women do not participate in the economic processes, people tend to think that this is the norm and nothing can be done to change it. This mentality, in turn, further reduces the role of women in economy in a downward spiral. Italy fights to reverse this process by opening spaces for women in economy in order to reinforce their role and change the mentality and the narrative. Cooperation among all actors involved is key, not only international cooperation, but also cooperation within countries. The full involvement of civil society and women association is the best way to make our activities fruitful for having the beneficiaries as owners of the projects. This is how the Italian cooperation acts all over the world, from Myanmar to Ethiopia, from Albania to Palestine, where our role in the promotion of gender equality and women empowerment is crucial. Of equal importance is our contribution to organizations, agencies and programs active on this effort at a global level, such as UN Women, UNICEF, UNFPA, or the UNFPA-UNICEF joint program to eliminate female genital mutilations. We proudly are one of the very first countries to have ratified the Council of Europe Convention on Preventing and Combating Violence Against Women and Domestic Violence, so-called Istanbul Convention. This is the first legally binding international instrument aimed at creating a global and integrated framework for the protection of women against any forms of violence, thus providing international support for the authorities and organizations working for this purpose. This year, we celebrate some very important anniversaries concerning gender equality and women's empowerment. The 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, as well as the 20th anniversary of the Security Council Resolution 1325 on Women, Peace and Security. We must remember that the Platform of Action, approved by the Beijing Conference, is still the most relevant political text on women's empowerment and gender equality. It represents a reference point for women around the world, as it is indeed in Beijing that the movements and governments from all over the world have proclaimed that women's rights are human rights. This is why, in celebrating this anniversary, we must reaffirm the full validity of the international acquis on gender equality, the full enjoyment of all human rights by all women and girls, and their empowerment. We must also firmly oppose any attempt to undermine the existing international commitments which we are experiencing in negotiations in multilateral fora. As noted by the United Nations Secretary General, the COVID-19 health crisis, as well as the measures taken to combat the pandemic, are aggravating the condition of vulnerability of many women who are already facing this condition in the world, increasingly exposing them to episodes of domestic violence and abuse. The current situation is also limiting women's access to health, education, and legal protection services. For this reason, we believe that the defense and promotion of women's rights must be placed at the heart of all our efforts to combat the virus and become pivotal to recovery measures. Women must be fully involved in all decision-making processes. It is also essential to recognize the fundamental role of women among frontline health workers, who are around 70% worldwide. We look forward to a world where women are given equal opportunities for equal pay and equal respect. A world where gender inequality will only be a legacy of a distant past. As Angela Davis once said, we have to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating society. And together we can achieve this goal. Thank you.